Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. I'm the general manager, and Josh Profit, our service director. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Beautiful Saturday out there in Cake Land, right? As I used to say.
Yes, it is.
Larry
yes,
Hatterberg brought that up here. I think, man. I'm not sure about that.
I think it's going to be a little bit windier later on for sure.
Is it really?
Calling for pretty substantial winds later on today. So
that's
we'll
always
see what
nice.
happens.
See what happens, right? All right, hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Anything alien car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it might be. New products, anything in the racing world. Had a lot of excitement, I guess, last night down at Humboldt for the World of Outlaws. Maybe Nick Ballman can give us a call in and give us an update on everything kind of went down there. And from that standpoint. So 316-462-3673. That number is our front desk. Just tell me when to get passed into the podcast with your question. You get a great price package as always. Josh, what's in that package?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety related stuff on the vehicle, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then a can of 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So,
all right, 316-462-3673. That's the number to dial up, and we're going to get Nick Roberts in here. We're getting an update on what's going on at Kansas International Dragway with their next race coming up. So let's get Nick patched through here, and we'll get an update with all that stuff too. So anyway, we'll see what's happening at Kansas International Drag. I know they got a big Halloween race coming up, so we'll get all the specifics there, what's going on with Nick and everything else for that part for the drag racing side of this coin. Nick, you're live under the hood. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Beautiful Saturday, man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, anyway, just get everybody up to date on what's happening with your big race next weekend and times, places, what's happening, payouts, who's racing, who's not, who's having fun, and everything else. What's happening?
Okay, so yeah, we have an awesome, fun-packed weekend planned, or Saturday planned for next Saturday. Gates are going to open at 4 p.m. It's spectators are just $10 a carload.
Carload.
And there's carload, yep.
Is that a bus?
Pack as many people as you can. Yeah, if you got a bus, you got an RV, pack as many people as you can.
Cool.
So we got all kinds of fun things for the kids. So we get one of the biggest bounce houses I think I've ever seen in my life coming. We got costume contests, not only for adults and kids.
Costume contest. Hold on, whoa. Costume contest, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What are you dressing up as?
I don't know if I could participate. That wouldn't be too fair.
You don't have to participate. You can still dress up, though.
Yeah.
Wild West or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, anyway, sorry to interrupt there.
There's a $500 prize for adults. And then I think right now, there's a couple $100 prize for kids, plus some other little toys and stuff for that. There's obviously every year we do the kids Power Wheels race, and that gets bigger and bigger. We've got 2 classes for kids to race Power Wheels, so 16 volt and under, and then unlimited. So some of the parents go all out for these kids to race. So it's kind of crazy to see what they've built and what they've done and how fast some of these little electric Power Wheels can be.
Anybody added a nitrous button to one of them yet?
I've seen car batteries and all kinds of stuff put in them before, wired in series and all kinds of stuff. So it gets pretty funny.
Okay, so that's something you cannot participate in, right?
No. And then we're doing
class.
Yeah, I don't think I could fit in one. That's for sure.
Be worth a shot.
Then we have our car show and trunk or treat. So we have 3 car show prizes that will be given out: best in show car, best in show motorcycle, and then best Halloween themed. Last year we had a few guys that dressed their whole car up as something as spooky, and then had all kinds of setups and displays around the car and made it feel like Halloween, so we got a prize for that. Got tons of door prizes for them. And then everyone that's participating in the car show is doing the trunk or treat. So you bring candy for the kids, and the kids will go around car to car and get candy. Also got tons of businesses that have decided to set up booths, and they're going to give out candy to the kids and then business information to the adults, kind of as a community business building exercise, I guess, be the way to say it.
Yeah, very cool. And then how about on the racing side?
On the racing side of things, so we have a big junior dragster race. So any kids that race junior dragsters get in for free, and they're racing for $250. Then we have our small tire heads up class. So I think there's almost at the right at $1,000 in sponsorship money put on top of that, plus the entry fee for that goes in the pot. So if the car counts where it normally is, it could be $5 to $10 grand pretty easy. We have a daily driver class. It has an extensive amount of rules to try to keep race cars out to be more of your just fun daily driver cars. And then we have 2 different index classes. So if you run 580 index in the 8th or 650 index in the 8th, there's a 70% payback on those classes too.
All kinds of fun and exciting stuff.
Yep. And if you just want to test and tune, that's available too for $20. So you can come out and have fun and bring your kids out, bring your family out, and see all kinds of stuff.
Okay. So that's next Saturday, Kansas International Dragway.
Yep.
Gates open at 4. Car load $10 just to get in. And then the test and tune just cost you $20. What's it cost to race the other classes that you get into? Like the Power Wheels. You don't charge the kids to race the Power Wheels, do you? Or do you?
Nope. Kids don't get kids absolutely are no charge to race Power Wheels. And then of course every year we've been able to give every kid that's participated some prize. I know, Mel Hambelton does a lot. Miller's Towing has done a lot. So we've got piles and piles of toys. And then, first place, second place picks the prizes that they want first. And then it goes all the way down. And every year we've been able to give every single kid that's participated something pretty cool. So it's just a fun time for the kids. And that's absolutely no cost. And then the heads up small tire class, that is $100 buy-in. The daily driver class is $75 buy-in, and then both your index classes are also a $75 buy-in.
What if you go out? Can you buy back in? You let them buy back in?
So the index classes you can. The heads up classes typically no.
Gotcha. Well, cool. So next Saturday, 4:00 gates open. Carloads are full. God, I can't spit that out. Carloads full, cost $10 to get in. So get your buses ready and your RVs ready, I guess.
Yep.
And go out to Kansas International Dragway and have some fun. So if the gates open at 4, what time are you starting the first car down the track, Nick?
So the actual racing of the track, we're going to kind of have to watch, see. It looks like we're going to be okay for next weekend, but we've kind of got a window where we may have to start the actual racing part of it a little earlier, depending on what the temperature looks like. But I am hoping if we keep it on schedule the way it is now, it will be 4 p.m. and they will be going. First rounds of testing will be starting about 4:30.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to race, or if you're interested in racing, just keep watching the Facebook event, and that way, if the weather looks like maybe it's going to get cooler earlier, we may have to move the racing part earlier to miss the cool weather, because it's hard to maintain the track, and then the moisture kind of comes in too when the temperature drops like that. The dew does, and then it makes it really a slick, dangerous situation.
Exactly. Well, I wonder if Mr. Regner is going to have time to get our Mustang back together by Saturday. What do you think, Josh?
We were working on it, the other day again, going after it. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see how close we are. What do you think, Nick? Think we can put it together and go do a little test or not?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we might have to go bribe Mr. Regner instead a few little extras later in the evening or something to put that car back together, and because we need to go see where that thing's going to go. For those of you who don't know, we on our 21 Mustang, where the videos will be coming out on YouTube for the hunt for horsepower, and we kind of hurt the old car, which I still don't know if we really found the weak point, is what I don't know. And I don't think we did.
No.
I don't
think we just had a fluke accident.
Yeah, I do too. I think what you're saying there, for now that we see what happened to the piston and stuff, I think the ring clearance was too tight, couldn't breathe, and it just overextended that piston and burned it up. But that's still, I don't know, I just couldn't stand to go spend another stock motor for what it cost versus this updated motor a little bit to keep the car moving forward and everything else like that from that standpoint too. So we'll just have to see what happens, get her put together and go again, right?
Yep.
So anyway, Nick, thanks for calling in, and good luck next Saturday night. Let's make sure that we got everything together that you need from Mel Hambelton Ford Racing to help you out there. And I got to look at my calendar and see what I'm going to be able to come out there next Saturday or not. That's the 29th, right?
Yep.
So that might be, depending on what that temperature might be, that might have to be a deal. You know, maybe the 500 comes back out again for another night. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
There you go.
There we go. So, all right, Nick. Well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for all the updates. Good luck at Kansas International Dragway next Saturday. Gates open at 4. Hopefully, racing starts around 4:30. All kinds of fun things for the kids. And what about candy for the kids? Do you have any trick or treats or anything going on out there, or just costume contest?
So yeah, all the businesses will be handing out candy, and then all the car show guys will be handing out candy. So there'll be lots and lots of free candy for the kids.
There you go. All right, sounds great. All right, Kansas International Dragway next Saturday, 4:00, racing 4:30. Bring your Power Wheels for your kids and have some fun. Car load's $10, and let's make it happen.
Yep.
All right, Nick. Thanks for calling in, buddy. Have a great weekend, and talk to you soon, buddy.
No problem. You too. Bye.
All right, Dilbert Alt, good morning. And James Furman, good morning. Thanks for watching. And 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it might be, love to hear from you and answer any questions might be and give you away a great price package valued over $130. 316-462-3673. So anyway, Josh, what else has been happening in the shop? Anything exciting there, whatever? And
we get to, we get to this time of year, and nitrogen is something that we haven't talked about in a long time, and seen this week particularly seem to have got the opportunity to work on a lot of low tire lights. You get the fluctuation in temperature. I mean, earlier this week it was pretty chilly. I think the first part of next week is supposed to be pretty chilly as well, but then you get in the weekend and it's 80, 81, 82 degrees from that side. And so it's been a little while since we've talked about the benefits of nitrogen and what all that has to offer out there. And you get a lot of people that I think still don't necessarily even understand what it is or what it does or how it works, and have concerns of, well, if I have nitrogen in my tires, then I can't. If I have an issue or a problem, then I got to worry about sourcing it or finding it somewhere to get it corrected. From that side of things. And so I thought maybe today we could talk a little bit about nitrogen and what all it does for you.
Yeah. So let's just kind of go through nitrogen and everything else too. And, nitrogen is been used a lot in NASCAR. It's been used in the aviation area for years.
There's a lot of plants that run nitrogen or nitrogen generators if they're on pneumatic type equipment, just because of the benefits of it being a drier air, and better for the machinery for sure. So, and
you read Delbert Alt's mind. I got it on the front screen there. Read his mind. Just type and say, let's talk about prior pressures of nitrogen. Get your minds think alike. So, very true. Go. But 76% of what we breathe is nitrogen. And we're converting that nitrogen to, we want to 96%. There's a lot of machines out there that only get you to 93. That extra 3% makes a huge difference, especially when you really think about that percentage, what really is 3% and that sort of thing too. But a lot of things nitrogen does is just, it's every tire, even with nitrogen, is still seeping air. But nitrogen slows that process down so it doesn't leak out as fast. And number two, it just doesn't get affected by the temperature change like compressed air does, from these, like you said, 80 degrees and down to, I think we're in the 20s earlier this week. Weren't we?
Yeah, it was I think 29 one of the days, Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday. But anyways, with nitrogen, and you can even see it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily even have to be an extreme temperature change from that point of it. I mean, you could just have a resting tire. If you have, a lot of the newer cars now have individual tire pressures that you can monitor on each wheel. And so if you were going on a extended trip or a longer trip and you were watching that tire pressure from rest, one that's sat overnight, and you watch the tire pressures on that thing as you were driving, a tire will increase 3, 4, 5 psi, depending upon what the set air pressure is in the tire, just driving down the road from the heat that's generated by driving that tire on the pavement. It's worse the lower that tire gets, the more temperature that builds up in that tire, and then the more pressure exchange there is. And we just don't have very many blowouts anymore.
Tires don't fail like
the
they
tires
used to.
are manufactured very well, with the advancements in obviously the manufacturing processes and things like that, but then just the advancements on the equipment as far as being able to mount but then balance that tire and to load force that tire. You can a lot of times detect a bad tire long before it's ever even has an issue, just in the mounting and balancing process. And so it's when a tire gets low, then it overheats the tire, and basically it's the temperature is what the problem is, but it's caused due to the tire being low.
Yeah, and everybody thinks they had a blowout, which technically, when the tire gets that low and the heat builds, yes, the sidewalls can't take it, and that's when it does give out. It doesn't really blow out because there's no really hardly any air left in it to blow out.
Yeah.
Years ago, they would blow out because of the way the manufacturers had made tires and everything else like that, but they've changed how they've done that too. But I see it a lot driving down the highways and stuff like that. There's people pulled over with a flat tire, and it's not a blowout. It's just they let it go low. Or I'll see people driving with low tires.
Yeah.
And I know that car's got a tire pressure monitoring system on it, and I don't know if they're just ignoring it or it doesn't. I'm sure they're ignoring it.
Or it had been on for quite a while, or something like that as well. It means something when that tire light's on, for sure. And that's called an indicator. The car's not going to jump up and say, hey, this tire's low.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing we kind of left out of there too, Josh, is nitrogen. When it goes through our process of making it to the 96%, it's a very dry air.
Yeah.
And it gets the condensation out of the tire. And I know that's a long-term effect, but that condensation will damage and rust the steel belts that's in the tires and that sort of thing too. Of course, we use a lot of nitrogen here just in our tools,
equipment. Yeah.
our equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so much better for the equipment and everything else too. Even though we have dryers and everything on our compressed airs running through the shop and stuff, but we do pump a lot of nitrogen through our equipment to better long live those equipment stuff too. But the other myths, like you first started out with, Josh, is so I'm running down the road and my tire light does come on, or I get a low tire, because it's still going to happen with nitrogen. It's just not going to happen as fast. It is okay to pump normal compressed air into that. And that is kind of the biggest thing people, I think, like you said earlier, are scared about.
Yeah.
What do I do? Well, it's not going to hurt anything, because remember, 76% of what you're putting in is still nitrogen. But then you just need to get your air pumped up where it needs to be. And then when you come back to us, let us know that, hey, I did put some compressed air in it. We'll go back and recycle the tires and get you back up to those 96% air on those tires.
So benefits for having it in there, obviously, is a consistent pressure. That's not going to fluctuate with temperature change. And in doing that, if a tire is not growing or decreasing in pressure, the contact patch or the wear patch, so where the tire is actually meeting the road, it's gonna stay more consistent. So then your tire is going to last longer.
Yep.
Over the life of the tire. But then also, fuel economy. If you don't have a lower tire, you're not going to consume more fuel to push that tire down the road because the contact patch is increased, or vice versa, being overinflated and having too much tire wear, or irregular tire wear. And so, over the life of a tire, it's a huge savings, or can be a huge savings. The benefits of nitrogen, by the time you figure fuel consumption and wear on the tire, it is a great advantage to have it in there. For sure.
And if you want to just check it out, is go to getnitrogen.org. You can plug in how many miles you drive, how much your tire costs, and how much a gallon of fuel is, which is going to drastically change it today with the price of fuel. And it'll calculate your savings per year, because of knowing that your the pressure's right, the fuel economy's right, the tread wear's getting the best wear pattern it can, and it'll calculate up there. And there's anywhere from $100 to $200 a year your savings in that for just having nitrogen in your tires. So great thing. And like I said, it's just evolved over to where now there's so much more. It's supply and demand thing, kind of a thing, where the machines, they're still very expensive. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they're more reasonable now that it makes more sense to have those nitrogen machines. And we've got one in each store. And then we got the big generator down there at Quick Lane that generates all the nitrogen for our equipment and stuff too. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you and answer any questions you might have. And got any questions about nitrogen or something we've left out? Love to hear from you. You get a great price package, about over $130 for each and every caller calling in today. So anyway, real quick, Josh, as we wait on maybe some callers come in, we always kind of get jabbing on here. We forget to talk about our sponsors a little bit. We need to talk about those guys that help us very well, and that's BG Products. And Josh, you kind of had a little contest or something with BG and competed against another store and that sort of thing. So what happened there?
So we had a competition between us and a store in Kansas City up there, and BG. The competition was between each store and who could sell the most BG products from that side of things. And so we had beat the store in Kansas City, but the prize was BG would come in and provide breakfast. And so they were doing that this morning down at the Quick Lane. And so those guys were very happy for that, especially as because they got a Blackstone grill and brought it in, and they're making sausage and hash browns and eggs, and that was all kind of in the shop there, and the aromas were going everywhere. And it's never a bad day when you got eggs and sausage,
some cooking for you, right?
Cooking, right? So I was down there kind of helping out a little bit and getting in on the tail end of it, but they definitely had everybody's interest.
There you go. Mr. Sheridan, what breakfast? I'm on my way. What are you home sleeping, Sheridan, or what?
Yeah.
Come on, got work to do here, buddy. So anyway, yes, BG Products, I mean, a great partnership we have with those guys. I mean, they come and get our cars to do testing and everything else all the time. Again, I've told this many times, 1986, 87, somewhere there when I was cleaning injectors with their 44K through the fuel rails and stuff and everything else, but they've evolved and they keep evolving. And I can't get over the shop they have over there to do the research and development and all that kind of stuff. And then the plant over in El Dorado and everything else too. But they ship these products all over the world. And it's fun when they bring these guys in from overseas and different places that running their products and want to see our shop and stuff. So it's kind of fun on that and that part. But just love what BG Part does for you. And I will tell you that everything that they make is something that will better serve your car to make it run longer, more miles, everything else like that. But I'll promise you one thing, that there is nobody in the manufacturing world that's going to put it in their owner's manual that you need to stop, because the owner's manuals are your minimum requirements to keep that car going. And again, the manufacturers don't care about you after you get out of the warranty period, because they want to sell you parts and they want to sell you another car. So if you want to take and protect your investment stuff, I promise you everything that we put in there or recommend for you. And again, driving habits. Josh's driving habits are different than mine, and mine's different than yours. You need to build a plan that's going to maintain your car correctly in what you do, depending on whether you're a lot of highway miles or you're in town miles or you're just towing.
Yeah, use of vehicle, what your intended use of the vehicle is for sure makes a huge difference on the maintenance that you got to do with it.
And Rex Trigger, BG Products help you do a good burnout. Oh yeah, we could probably put something on that tire, make a lot more smoke. That's for sure. So that is no doubt about that. And from that part. So BG Products, great partnership, and just love their guys and the guys over there that come in, pick their cars up, and then all the guys in the corporate office and everything else too. And great partnership with those guys and everything else too from that part. So anyway, Big Corner Creative, Jesse has a great crew over there. And if you don't know much about Big Corner Creative, those guys' slogan is just Google us. So Google Big Corner Creative. You'll see everything they do there. Those guys are a full-fledged advertising company that takes care of your business for anything you need advertising-wise, a web page design, vehicle wraps, window wraps, direct mail. If you want to get into traditional marketing with radio and TV and that sort of thing, they have their own production staff down there that produces all the videos, all the TV, all the radio, everything else from that part. And Jesse's just got a great crew down. Oh, tinting windows and everything else too, from that standpoint too. So a lot of things are at Big Corner Creative, and like I said, like those guys say, just Google us. Anyway, the other thing is go to rent. We're trying to build that fleet back up with how inventory levels are and stuff, and our fleet over there is about half of what it normally is over there for for Stan and the rental side. And, just the other day I had some people say, I didn't know you rented vans. Yeah, we have.
That's a huge market for us for sure. There's not a whole lot of places around to be able to get those larger vans. And, there's a lot of churches and schools and Boy Scouts. I mean, I can think all sorts of different reasons that we rent those vans out. And there's typically always several of them coming and going. And then the other side of it, we do a lot of customization on the vans to make them work and fit everybody's needs as far as seat removals and things like that to get you accommodated.
Yep, exactly. So, and then Stan's we put in a few expeditions and that sort of thing too. We put in some other cars too to help with explorers and that sort of thing. So if the holidays are coming, you need something bigger to get to grandma's house or need a little more room or whatever, I'd be getting on the schedule with Stan and getting your appointment put in there and have your appointment ready to go. And so you got something ready to go for the holidays. So you know what, those things, holidays are going to be here before we know it.
It's crazy. Sure. Yep, it's crazy.
So anyway, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything whatsoever. And you get your great price package for $130. So anyway, let's have a little trivia. What about that? Have a little trivia.
Okay. What trivia? What did you drive home last night?
What did I drive home last night? I drove home a Lariat.
No. What are they got to guess.
Oh, they got to guess what I drove home.
You already gave it away. So
Not really.
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
I guess you can tell. I was going to ask you how it was anyway. So,
well, okay. I'm driving we got our second, what we call courtesy transportation, Lightning F-150. And this one is a Lariat. It's a normal battery, not the small battery, but it is a smaller battery than the extended battery. Been playing with it a little bit. I've got about 150 miles on it so far. The charge point is when it charges 100%, it's right about 210 mile range. But what I will tell you, what I have figured out is the highway miles, it does drop off a little faster. But if you're driving in town, I can almost maintain that mileage and keep it there because of the regeneration of brakes and all that kind of stuff. I'm still playing on the dash, the big screen it's got and everything, trying to figure everything out and get everything adjusted the way I want and that sort of thing too. But about 210 miles is what it tops out on the battery. But if I get on the highway and it's about 2 for 1 on the highway for that mileage, but in town, I'm telling you, it stays about right there where it needs to be. But again, I'm trying to get the mileage too.
Sure.
I need to stop trying to do that and kind of see what it does and everything else like this. I know when I see the stoplight, I'm letting off. And it's got a brake coach in there telling you how you braked and what you did. So I'm learning how to brake better and everything else too. It's even got a history button over there that'll go back through and rate you what you
You'll
did.
get a score.
Get a score.
It blows me away when you step into, and I mean, this is all the way back from, I can think of the first kind of hybrid fusions or whatever that we had, but you just walking up to the vehicle, your mindset changes on it, or being in the vehicle and seeing the display on it. Fuel efficiency or mileage is never a thought on my mind getting into a vehicle, but you get in one of those vehicles and it's almost like a video game of how good can I do,
So anyway, let's hear some questions about what your thoughts are, what your feelings are about your electric cars. I've got a lot of opinions myself. I've listened to Ford quite a bit, done a lot of reading and research and stuff, different things, talked to a lot of different people about what we think about what's going on with electric cars and stuff. Love to hear your opinions. What do you think's the future of electric cars? What do you think how fast we're going to evolve into electric cars? And what do you think the negatives are? Because there's a lot of negatives out there running around and everything else too. I think there's a lot of unknowns yet. I don't think we really know exactly what's going to happen to us in the next year, the next 2 years, next 5 years from that part. I do believe it's going to be a growing deal. I don't think it's going to be as fast of a growing thing as these manufacturers really think it is because of infrastructure, parts, availability, batteries, that kind of thing. But hey, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you on what your thoughts are about going to electric cars, how you feel about it and everything else like that too. But I will tell you, the internal combustion engines are not going away. When we were there at Ford this year for the Ford new car show, they announced 4 new internal combustion engines.
Yep.
I get what's happened with the manufacturers. The government's put these tight CAFE ratings, and they've got to build these electric cars to keep these CAFE ratings. I wish the government would relax on that just a little bit, because that's another side of this coin, is what's it doing to our environment, making the batteries and the charge points.
Just the manufacturing process of them. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ford has kind of come out with these criteria of what we need to have, what we need to have available for our customers and that sort of thing. And I'm still blown away because I've told a lot of Ford employees already is they want us to have a customer facing DC charger out front, a fast charger out there. Very expensive to charger. It's the most expensive one you can have. It's Charge Series 3 or Charge 3, whatever it is that you want to call that, but it's a very expensive. In my opinion, and let's hear you. Would you like to come to the dealership and charge your car, or would you rather charge your car at your house? That's another trivia question. 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you from that part. My opinion is I want to charge my car at home.
Well, and so the other side of that is when you're saying the DC fast chargers, I mean, you're talking about charging a car in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, roughly around there. And from the current or the amount of voltage that it takes, I'm not sure that that's not necessarily capable for every residential environment to have that type of power. You know, so what that would do to a charging grid, you know, I'm not sure.
Well, that's a whole nother debate there too on that side of the coin.
And this is something that's definitely going to evolve, you know, over time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And then I also think too, just geographically, our location of where we're at versus, you know, some of the more states that are, I guess, stricter on the emissions control and you know, things like that. I definitely think that it's going to be a bigger thing there for sure. They've got a larger percentage of the fully electric vehicles that were produced already going to those states. So from a mechanical side of things, you know, it's still a machine. They're still moving parts.
Yep.
They're still moving components. It's still gonna, you know,
we're missing an oil change and transmission service is what we're missing with these cars.
It's still gonna break. There's still gonna be a need from the service side of things. I definitely think it's gonna change the, you know, change the service industry, but there's still a need for it. It's not going away by any means.
Well, and who knows really whether this is true or not? You know, and think about it, it probably is true. When you're braking and it's using that regeneration braking, it's wearing the tires just as hard as it is as you're accelerating. So I think the tires are going to wear out quicker on an electric car.
Sure.
From that part.
Well, and then I think also to speak to the tires a little bit is, you know, if you think about it, there's no internal combustion engine, there's no transmission. So you don't have those components making any type of noise. And so the manufacturers are putting softer compound tread tires on these vehicles just for my ride and comfort and noise standard, you know. And so, yeah, I fully believe that they're going to, and then the other side of it is that I'm sure they're building the tires as light as they can for weight purposes. And so what that does, I definitely think you're going to end up going through tires a heck of a lot faster on these EV side of things. I mean, we've even dismounted some tires previously, and they actually put a foam band in the inside of the tire. It's adhered to the inside of the tire on the rubber portion of it, and it's to absorb noise to make it quieter.
And I will say
the cabin
that Lariat is quiet.
Yeah,
there's hardly any noise in that thing. There's no wind noise. There's no nothing. So I got to turn the radio up a little louder, and I know what to do too. But anyway, there's a lot of requirements Ford's making us. And yes, we did sign up to be an EV dealer. It is an option. There's two levels of options. There's one you can just participate in service but not sell. And there's the other one we can, then the top, what they call them, the elite, which is what we signed up for. And they're giving us a year to basically get to the compliance of all this. Of course, we're working hard on it already with our electrical company, ESI, and Dave Doffenbach and those guys to get us a set up and get going and getting ready for that. We got most of the tools already that we need to have, I'm pretty sure, and everything else too. But you know, if they're giving us a year to do that, there is no promise of what production numbers they're going to give us for 23. I do have some numbers for 24 and 25 with their that they're predicting they can give us for units, but it's not a big number, everybody. It's not a huge number of how many they're going to build from that standpoint.
Not a big number, everybody. It's not a huge number.
Delbert, you're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Doing
Perfect.
great.
You?
Good, wonderful. Well, you know, that's kind of a controversial subject with that electric cars these days, isn't it?
You know, it is. It is a controversial. It's everywhere I go, I get the same questions and what my opinions of it are. And it's amazing what I hear from other people. That's why I kind of wanted to hear from everybody else today, what their thoughts are on electric and what their opinions are, then positive or negative. So what's your take on it so far?
Mine has changed. I mean, initially I was excited. Let's go all electric. And then, as more information comes out and you learn more about what these cars can and can't do, and the situation with the electrical grid and everything, you go, well, maybe electric isn't the way to go for most people. Maybe hybrid is a better way to go for now. And then later on, as the electrical grid gets better and people can do more things at their house and all that stuff, and maybe electric could be a better option at that point. But right now, it's just, to my opinion, it's just not a great option.
And I'm with you on a lot of that.
And I was excited about the Lightning too, by the way.
I mean, it's cool to drive. Don't kid yourself. But if you want to go to Kansas City in that thing, it's going to be a little rough to figure that one. Again, if you're playing your trip a lot better than what you would normally do to go to Kansas City or whatever, if you want to go to Denver or wherever you want to go on that truck. But I'm with you. I wish we'd have worked more into a hybrid deal and then worked more into the electric kind of side of the things. But I think every manufacturer wanted to be first to the game and try to see what they could do and get the marketing side of that thing going. But I think we're in a lot of trouble with the grids. And here's another example that I'll give you this is living proof of what happened. Is a dealer got his requirements, went to the energy company to say, hey, this is what I need at my dealership for more electric to bring in to run to do the electric cars. And that electric company,
they laughed at him.
Yeah, they laughed. You know what they told him to go do? They said, we can't get it. We can't get you the power you need. They told him to go buy a generator and put a generator in. And okay, so that makes sense. We're going to go buy a generator and run diesel fuel so we can apply enough electric current to charge these electric cars. And that's a bona fide. That dealer, I talked to that dealer. I won't tell you who it is. It's not local. It's out of state. But that electric company could not provide him enough power and told him to go buy a generator and plug that in. Now, that makes sense. Let's go buy a bunch of diesel fuel so we can charge these electric cars. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
And honestly, if you are going to try to drive your vehicle, the best one to have for electric vehicles to drive across country would be an F-150 Lightning or something similar to that, because you could put that portable generator with some gasoline in the trunk and have it there for if you needed to charge your vehicle overnight or something.
It's very true. Oh yeah, it's
that's just one of the options, but still, for the cost of a generator and some fuel, you'll have more of a range, if you will, to get where you're going.
Yeah, I totally get that too. So I think we got a long way to go before some of these states have announced by 2035 all this kind of thing. Well, you know what? No one can build a Super Duty battery yet that's going to be compliable for a Super Duty for these construction companies and that sort of thing too. There's just no way it can happen. Now, Rex Strigo brings up here hydrogen fuel cells. I think that's there's been a lot of working on fuel cells on hydrogen. Clear back in early 2000, Ford was working on those. I know other manufacturers are too. Why they haven't involved as much, I don't know. I don't know what I haven't studied enough on a hydrogen to see where that's at either. But there's no way they can put an electric battery big enough in a Super Duty to take care of a guy for a day working on a construction site and stuff too. So
or hauling loads or
yeah, just can't happen.
Well, let's go back in history even further when I believe it was Honda in the early 80s also had their first 50 mile per gallon vehicle, and the EPA said, no, you can't do that because, federal government, whoever said, no, you can't do that because we're not going to be selling a lot of fuel and making fuel, and people are going to go out of business.
Yeah, and I'm going to go another step with that too. What happens to all the fuel sales when we start getting electric for all the road tax to pay for our roads? Where's that come from then? Where's that tax and that money go to?
These things are much heavier than regular vehicles, so
yeah.
And when you talk about tires are going to wear out faster unless they build bigger tires or thicker or whatever the case may be, stronger tires. There you go.
Yeah.
To maintain all that.
Yeah. Do I think we're on a ways to get to electric and a lot more? Yeah, I do think, but it's going to take longer than what I think everybody thinks. I don't think it's going to be an overnight deal. And I think it's going to take a lot more technology to get the batteries, to get the range that people really need and want, and the charge times to get down more or less. And, from that standpoint, but I think if you take the average driver that drives, say 40 miles a day and can plug into a 220 outlet in their garage, I think it's going to be perfect for them. But if someone wants to drive
Yeah,
to
I would
Kansas
agree.
City or drive to Denver or drive to Dallas or whatever, yeah, I get it. I mean, when I race out there at Hayes, out on I-70, I mean, the Walmart, the old Chicago, all those places have chargers there. But I didn't see anybody sitting there charging either. That's the other thing. There's nobody in them yet.
No.
So that's the whole thing. You got to, if you're going to sit there for 45 minutes or whatever, I guess you can plan to have lunch while you're sitting there at all Chicago to finish on going into Denver or whatever it might be. But we got to get the range longer. We got to get the charge times down, and there's got to be a huge infrastructure. And it's not just, that's what I'm frustrated with Ford, is making us put a DC charger out front for customer facing. To have that, that's the biggest expense there is in being an EV dealer, and why we need that right now, I don't know. It blows me away.
I think they're just putting out there things to try and make their tax rating better, for better lack of how it should be stated. But they get tax breaks for doing certain things, and I think that's one of those that they may possibly get a tax break for, to help them in their non-payment of taxes, so to speak.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things that got to get adjusted and changed, I think, on that standpoint. I just don't think that there's any way any manufacturer can take and tell anybody yet that they can go 100% electric at any point in time. I just don't think it can happen yet. Can it happen in the future? Possibly, but I just don't know anybody can take 100% and say, hey, here's where we're headed. Now, I think Lincoln is really driving that way, and I bet Cadillac's driving that way, but I think a lot of that, they're not thinking about these cross-country trips that a lot of people like to take in their Lincolns and their Cadillacs and things like that, and the big SUVs to go. For somebody who lives around here in Kansas, wants to go to Colorado to go skiing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work. Not yet, anyway. They're going to have to come up with, have a trailer to pull a battery behind you or something from that part. Greg Murray says, my range of my power boost is 700 miles plus on 30 miles to the gallon. I can fill out faster than the kids can take a potty break.
Get back in the truck. Let's go.
It's very true, Greg. But I do think there is a future in electric. I don't think we need to have it shoved down our throat as fast as we're getting it shoved down our throats right now. I think we need to gradually work into this situation and gradually work into the culture change we're going to have to get into. But shoving this down our throats and making sure that we have to have all these things, I don't agree with it. But you know what? If that's what Ford wants for us to be a Ford dealer, and we got to go after this program and still be in this business for all of our young families and everybody we have here at this dealership, we already signed up, and we're one of the few dealers, I'm going to tell you, that signed up in our area to be 100% EV dealer. But we're going to jump on it. We're going to go. We're always try to stay on the cutting edge here at Hambelton Ford. We try to give our employees the best we can, but and every opportunity we have to make their livelihood. But bring on the electric cars. But I'm telling you, we got a long way to go.
Yeah, and excuse me, how is Ford doing that? They're going to make you have 3 different businesses now, or is it 2 businesses, or how's that going to work in the future?
Basically what, you've got your standard Ford dealer to be selling ICE vehicles, and then you have to sign up to be an EV dealer, and there's 2 levels of that. I'll just throw some numbers at it. They want you to spend $500,000 to put in their charging stations, their structure, all that kind of thing, and you might get 25 cars to sell per year. That's it. If you become the elite dealer, you're going to spend $1.2 million dollars to get your store up to date. And then the Performa, I'll throw some numbers out and just tell you, my Performa for 24 is 130 cars is what they're going to give me for the model year 24. And it's like 300 in model year 25. And, to pay back $1.2 million is going to be a lot. But I hope everything that we've done around here, because we've already got 6 of the 80 amp chargers sitting here working, that those ought to get applied to us. I just still don't understand why we got to have a customer facing. It's almost $80,000 to have a customer facing payable fast charger sitting in front of the store. I just don't know that the customers, until there's enough cars out running around for people driving through. But I just don't think people want to come to the dealership to charge their car. I think they want to charge at their house. They want to come to the dealership, get it serviced, but I don't think they want to come and charge at the dealership. I don't. My opinion.
Well, I'd come just to say hi to you guys.
Well, there you go.
I get it.
I mean, seriously though, it's a good thing, but it's not such a good thing, because now you got to have a parking area for that to happen. So you got to set up a side place, and the way businesses are put together today, they weren't designed for that kind of thing. So now you got to make a new area for your EV charging port. And like you said, the cost to put it in and the cost to maintain it is and even though it's a pay as you charge, it's still not going to pay for itself in any quick amount of time, just like having your electric dealership. You know, it's just not going to pay for itself very quickly. And the return on investment, you know, unless they get some pretty dang good incentives from the federal government, there's just no way most Ford dealerships can handle it. I know there's like 6 or 8 dealerships here close by in Oklahoma City dealer area, and some of these guys are just barely making it as it is, and they're not going to be able to do that.
No, it's a tough deal to do. I'm telling you it is. But yeah, time will tell. I think Ford's going to have to pull back some of their strings they put so tight on us and everything else from that standpoint to get this going. And it's like I was talking to my Ford rep the other day about these EV chargers and how many they want us to have. And I think I says, you know what? Until you can supply me with enough cars in the ground that I can have 10 cars in stock, then make me start trying to have all these requirements that you want to have and everything else too. So anyway, sorry, we got another call. Didn't know we had hanging out there either too.
Nope, go for it. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate your comments, Delbert, as always. Thanks for calling in the show. And we're going to go get Dan on the phone. He's been hanging for a while. So sorry about that, Dan. Delbert, again, thank you enough for calling in and appreciate your comments and everything all about the electric stuff.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, buddy. Forgot about Dan hanging there. We got all fit to be tied on this electric cars and what's going on and what's happening and everything else too. So hope Dan is still hanging on tight there and everything else too. Forgot him hanging there, but Dan, you're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Yes. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys a couple questions on the power grid. Do you think that'll handle these new vehicles long term? And also, if you were like person was traveling 300 or 400 miles a day, how are they going to charge? I mean, that takes a long time to do that. In California, you can't even have a gas lawnmower anymore, they said.
Yeah, and so that's where these DC fast chargers come into play, is because you're able to get, I don't know, what is it, 85% of the charge in about 15 minutes. I mean, depending upon the size of the battery and stuff like that, but essentially the DC fast chargers would replace like a fuel station. And so you'd be able to get the battery recharged in a reasonable amount of time from that side. And, you know, from a consumer standpoint, the average driver on a day-to-day operation, the full tank would do everything you needed to do, and you'd be able to just charge it from home. But when you're talking about people traveling long distances or states away, that's where the DC fast chargers will have to come in or take place, so that you're not sitting on the side of the road for, hours on end to.
Yeah, like I do health equips, all their service work, and they haven't gone electric yet, but when they do, they travel a lot in one day. A couple of the guys do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Delivering oxygen and whatever. And I just wondered how that would work out for companies like that.
Yeah. No, and is the grid there? No, the grid's not there. They can't handle the grid. The grid's not there. These electric companies got to do so much to change and adjust. And even Greg Murray says there's no way. They're not ready for any mass volumes.
Like Texas too. Also, Texas, got a problem too with, power.
Yep. Well, let's go down to the hurricane that just hit Florida. What would all those people do if that was 100% electric down there when they were out of power for?
Oh, that'd be.
Yeah, I mean that's where I don't think that
storms.
Everybody wants to move this way, but we're moving way too fast.
Too fast.
Exactly, too fast, and everything else from that standpoint until we can prove what's going to happen. Not if you heard earlier in the show, Dan, where a dealer, I talked to him just this week, and in his state that he went to the electric company and they can't provide enough current get into his store to provide what Ford says he needs to have, and they told him to go buy a generator and put a generator out there. So he can provide the electricity. That makes good sense. Let's buy diesel fuel.
Yeah, because the generators only last so long. They wear out. All of them do.
Yeah.
You run them too continuously,
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things still got to get worked out and everything else too. And I'm still
they're just trying to push it so fast. And if you're charging at home, even if you get the beefed up charger, it takes quite a while, doesn't it, to charge your battery up at home?
Well, it also depends. Let's take our Mach-E. That Mach-E will only accept a 40 amp charge. So it's going to take about 12 hours. If you let it go all the way dead, about probably 12 hours, I'm going to guess, to charge a Mach-E. Now, an F-150, it can take 80 amps, but now I got to correct myself. I think the 80 amp was only the extended battery. I don't think it's the standard battery can take 80 amps.
Right. To that, so.
From that part. So it can charge all night and be ready to go. I've only let the one I'm driving now, I let it get down to about 50% or whatever, and out here during the day, charge up, it'll come back and get in, and it's 100% charged. But I'm on an 80 amp
people,
circuit.
like a lot of people are, run on the road until, like they do, real low on gas, which I never do that. If they run too low and run out, they're in trouble on the highway, aren't they?
Very much so. Yeah, no doubt.
Because you can't just plug in and charge up when it gets too low, right?
No. And I will tell you, the technologies in these cars, like for example, if you get in a Mach-E and say, hey, I want to drive to Denver, and it'll give you the map and it'll tell you, hey, you can drive to Salina, but then you're going to sit there for so many minutes or an hour and whatever minutes to charge you to get you to Hayes, or you can drive on to Hayes, but then you're going to set longer at Hayes than what you would have to get you then into Denver. So it does get you a plan. So I guess you just got to plan what you're going to do at each town when you stop and what you're going to do for that time frame to charge. I need to,
like, say you have a sick family member or something, or emergency
you
need to go to Colorado. This is going to take a lot longer.
Yeah. So the ICE vehicles are still going to hang around for a while. I'm promising you that. And I think the other thing we need to look is when these manufacturers come out and say they're going to be 100% electric through 2035 or whatever it is. I think there's a little asterisk
2035 California says you have to be.
Yeah, I think there's got to be an asterisk down. I wonder what the Super Duty guys are going to do at 2035 in California. How they're going to do construction work, how that's going to happen.
Well, look how far you drive in California just to go out to eat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let alone if you work, 2 hours away, or
or sit in traffic for 2 hours.
Exactly. There's a point. Yeah. Absolutely. You can sit for a long time in traffic, even in Dallas.
But here's my thing right now. What I think should happen, if you need to have in your garage, if you have 2 cars, you're gonna need, if you have 100% electric car to get you to run around in town, do your different things, and you got you an ICE vehicle sitting over here for when you want to take off and run to Wichita, or you want to run to Kansas City or Denver or whatever. So you'll have an electric car in your garage, you'll have an ICE car in your garage. Is what I really think where we need to head. And that ICE car needs to be the one that just does your short trips and everything else like that and get you to and from where you need to go. And there's a stat out there, I don't know if it's still true today, but the stat was the average consumer drives 42 miles a day. So technically a 220 amp circuit in your house charging an electric car would be just fine to charge it up every day. But long trips, don't know. Unless you want to take a long week to go to Denver or wherever you want to go.
Yeah, if you have the time, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or you want to go on a big vacation,
Yep. Like
go to Oregon or something. You're going to have to plan that out
it'd be a long plan.
I wonder if
but do you think they'll ever tell us we can't get gas for old cars and stuff?
Nah, I just don't think, I don't know how they can. I don't know how they can.
Because a lot of people in California have their old Camaros and Mustangs, and they're not going to get rid of those. Some of them are already 50 years old now, and they want to keep them.
Oh yeah, I agree. What are you going to say, Josh?
Well, they're going to. I don't know. Not in our lifetime. I don't think at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. Now I will tell you that some of the electric stuff like that, the Mach-E GT, man, that thing is quick. I mean, it is fast, it's powerful, everything else like that too. But again, 200-mile range.
Even the Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something I haven't done that Lightning yet. I've just been driving around trying to see how range I can get. I need to go put that thing in sport mode and see how it really is.
See what it does there. Yeah.
I bet that electricity drops real fast. What do you bet?
Yeah. Like my truck, the new one I have, are they could continue to build those?
Oh yeah, the F-150. I mean, Dan, the first year.
I'm talking about the
power boost,
hydro gas. Yeah, power. Yeah.
And I was driving a used one for a while, a 21, driving around town. When I drive a regular EcoBoost, I get about 15, 16, and I'm getting 20 miles a gallon with a power boost. I think that is a great alternative right now, and that's what we should have been doing. In my opinion, we should have been pushing these power boosts and these hybrids, getting everybody kind of used to it, let the electric companies start working on their grids and let everybody start working on the charge stations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, do it slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it slowly.
Delbert Alt, illegal gas comes to mind. Bootlegging gas instead of liquor like my dad used to do. Yeah, exactly. So,
and also, I wanted to add it too. I need to get a couple questions. I need to get Keith's Bronco serviced.
Okay.
He got a really good job at Hutch Hospital,
and
so he no longer works. So he won't be traveling, that much miles. But he is definitely needing an oil change.
Okay, we'll get you on the Hutch list.
A bit over.
We'll get you on the Hutch list and get that thing over here and get her serviced up for you too.
And do you know when his new Bronco, a guesstimation about I think Ray told me. I don't remember.
I'll have to go look and see
what month would you guess that probably be in?
Dan, right now it's hard. I have to look at this stuff every day, and everything's adjusting and changing dates and everything else. And a lot of it is, I just think that, the suppliers are still having a hard time getting Ford the parts they need to build these vehicles. And the other day, a guy got an email from Ford, said his truck's going to get delivered. I go pull it up. It's on a chip hold, setting up in Dearborn. And it's frustrating right now. It's just hard to tell where these things are at. So I need to go look and see where it's at, buddy.
Any idea on Mike's call-offs?
His truck is actually in production. Just texted him this week, so his is in production.
Okay.
I just hope
I haven't talked to him for about a week.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't go through production and go up on a chip holds. I hope it doesn't do that, but it is in production.
Like mine did.
Yeah, like yours did. Yeah,
but it was okay. I really like the truck. I really do.
They are great trucks.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, they really are.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Production getting better?
Say again.
Is production getting better?
It's a little bit better. I'm seeing a little bit of light of the tunnel, but the 90-day window that I'm looking at looks a little bit better, but it's still not good. I mean, it's not where I think we need to be. I think Ford's still producing about 30% of what we need to be producing for what our demand is and everything else from that part. But it's just
one thing good about it is you guys have a lot of repair work to do, and you guys do a real good job at that too. Josh is awesome.
Yeah, we sure try awful hard.
Sure, give it a go. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody I talk to is very happy, and I send a lot of stuff over there to you. We don't do. So
yeah, well, we love
that too.
Whatever you need help with, Dan, we're always here to help you, buddy.
Well, you always are.
Yeah. Well, we'll get Keith on
the deal. Go, and good talking to you.
You bet. Thanks for calling in, and appreciate all your comments, buddy.
All righty.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Well, some great calls there. Great stuff on the trivia of the electric cars. We'll continue that next week. So anyway, time's running out of show. Josh, anything else you got to talk about? Anything else you need to go about what's going on in the shop or anything at all?
Yeah. If we're starting to get to that time of year where tires are more on people's mind with inclement weather coming up and stuff like that. And so if you're questioning about that, just bring it in, run it across one of the service drives, have one of our service consultants take a look at it, and be more than happy to make sure that you're ready to go for the months ahead. So
old man winter's coming. Yeah. Can't stand it, hate it with a passion, but you know how to look at it. A couple more months after that, guess what's coming? Springtime's coming, and here we go.
You don't like what you see. You just got to keep looking further ahead. And you'll be there. So.
Exactly. So, hey, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the great comments and the great calls and comments coming through. As always, greatly appreciated. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all next Saturday.